Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I would like to personally again thank you all for viewing, commenting, liking, subscribing. All the contributions that you guys do just by participating helps my channel grow. Please consider enabling the ads and whitelisting my channel in your ad blocker to help me grow once ads are enabled on my channel. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the last video that I made, and that was setting up FreeIPA server. Now, the continuation is going to be how to properly install, set up, configure a Fedora Workstation or a Fedora client machine that you can domain join it to your FreeIPA instance and use the user manager to control and create logins. So we're going to start off. For all intents and purposes, this is not a very complicated machine. It's a 2-core, 4 gig RAM with 96 gigabyte hard drive. It's nothing very complicated, very basic. And we're going to be installing Fedora Workstation 41. If there's a very long, I just want to give you guys a heads up. If there's a very long quiet period, I'll either pause the recording and jump through it, or I'm gonna let you know that there's gonna be a very long period of silence while I'm putting in commands or whatever, and that way you guys can follow it through. But for now, please follow the guides. So we're just booting the Fedora 41 workstation installer, and there's not much really to do in the workstation installer because the quote-unquote configuration setup happens after you have successfully booted the machine rather than during install. As you can guys probably see in the sidebar, I'm also working on Windows Active Directory and messing around with Fedora as well. Hopefully I can bring you guys something very juicy and very interesting to watch. So once your installer has booted, go ahead and click on the Install Fedora option. Now, select your language and your region, click on continue. Some of the differences that you're going to see is that we cannot necessarily change the hostname during install like we could in the server version of it. So basically all you can do is select the time zone, keyboard layout, and the disk partition. So we're going to install it on the hard drive. We're going to make sure that it takes all the storage. And as soon as this is complete, we will be back. Once your installer has completed, go ahead and reboot. Whoops. Reboot and perform any required software update. Just run the DNF upgrade command and let it finish. We'll be right back. Right. Sorry, I went a little bit ahead of myself. Before you can upgrade all the installed software, you actually have to set it up. So what I do, especially in a testing environment, is I disable location services and problem reporting. I don't worry about third-party repositories, and for username and full name, I just put TGSC. So for the password, I would like for you, because this is a testing environment, just do something silly like password 123. But if it's a real life environment, or sorry, a working environment, make sure that it's nice and complicated. Once you're logged in to the workstation, that's when you're gonna open terminal. We're gonna skip on the tour, open the terminal, sudo su password 1231, and that's when we do DNF upgrade. So once that's finished, we'll continue the video. All right. So once all your updates have been installed, there's a couple of things that we need to do preemptively. First and foremost, we need to set up the hostname. So depending on what you have as a naming convention, I'm going to go ahead and just use the last 5 of the, so D95A2, D95A2. Just going to use the last 5 of the host name, WSD Workstation D95A2. I think that was it. Hold on, just D95A2. Yes. But you're not fully done there. You actually have to do the fully qualified domain name. So popdata.services. And you're going to call it that. So host name, and you should have it like that. So now that you're done here, install the FreeIPA client. Yes. Now, normally speaking, you should have your DNS DNS server propagation through your DHCP server. But because this is a trading environment, I haven't really gone as far to automate it. So let's go ahead and manually set the DNS server to what my FreeIPA server is. So, as you can see, our DNS server is currently set to be our gateway, which we don't want that. Now, we're just going to set it to 192.168.1.50, and that's my FreeIPA server. So let's go ahead and what was the command here? Just a sec. The command is IPA client. So IPA-client install mk home gear. So this is going to set up, or sorry, this is going to start the setup procedure to prepare the clients to join your FreeIPA directory. Before we begin though, I just want to bring your attention to something. If you guys are familiar with this host, this is probably enough in older releases of Fedora, but when I tried to do it on Fedora 41 and Fedora 40, I don't know, because this is labeled to work on Fedora 40 and Windows Server 2022. When I attempted this the way that it was, I got a lot of errors. I had errors on the sort of GNOME crashing, being told that password login is not allowed. A lot. And it was just crazy trying to chase an error that I didn't know that I caused. So I had to take a step back and go read the documentation once again. So once we start with this command right here, we are going to have the procedure to properly join our Fedora workstation or Fedora client to our FreeIPA domain. So let's go through the prompts together. Do you want to configure Chromium with an NTP server? Ideally, you would want to say yes and have that to be the address of your gateway, because that's a stratum, I think 2. No, the gateway is stratum 1, and then your client would be a stratum 2. Ideally, that's how you want to do it. It's close to stratum 1 that you can get it. Do you want to configure? Yes, I do. So obviously you want to make sure that it detects the domain, the IPA server, host name, so on and so forth. And this is where we're going to kind of come to a prompt. If you can remember, during our initial FreeIPA server setup in our previous video, we were prompted to set up admin credentials. And this is where this admin user comes into play. So the user that's authorized to enroll computers is the admin user. And we're going to set up we're going to enter the password for it and click on accept. Now that when we receive the FreeIPA client install command was successful, we are going to reboot the FreeIPA client. For preparation, nope, not here. Where is it? Okay, we're just going to log in. So for preparation, I have created a couple of users that we're going to play around with. So when you're going to be logging into your FreeIPA domain with the user, do not log in with the local administrator user. So click on not listed. So for the username, there's a way for you to omit the @domain or tod.domain, which is fine. But again, we are in a testing environment. All the little customizations are not really required. So let's go ahead and test with vlad@hawkdata.services. I think the password was abc124. No. abc1234. Man, okay. I don't remember what I set up the password as. So let's do homer.simpson. Before I do that, I gotta make sure that homer.simpson. Okay, and the password is path1231. What? I know the password was. Okay, so we're just gonna set it as path123. So path123 is going to tell me that the password is expired, which normally, yes, but it's going to ask for the current password. So path123 is the temporary password, and then we're going to change it to whatever we want. Let's change it to password1. Password1. And obviously it's going to tell us that there was a previous login and one login failed attempt, which is fine. And then it's going to log us in. It is a little slow during initial logins, but that's fine. When we go and open the terminal, this is where it's going to get interesting. As you can see, you're no longer getting user at machine, but let's see who's logged in. And look at that. Homer Simpson is logged into this machine. Now, there's a couple of things that I have kind of tested to be not hit or miss, but kind of a requirement. When you come into your FreeIPA server, you're gonna have to go under the IPA server tab and the sub tab configuration. Scroll down until you see the default authentication types. We are going to, the most secure ones ideally would be two-factor authentication, so password plus OTP. However, until you set up and configure OTP, you're better off disabling it and just letting people log in with a password rather than a password plus OTP. Sorry, obviously you can use a radius server as well, but because you already have FreeIPA to perform the user administration, if you don't have OTP, that's fine for a testing environment. If you have this in a production environment, make sure that you have OTP set up and ready to go. But because we don't, and this is a sorry, because we don't, and this is a testing environment, we are only okay with passwords. So make sure we'll click on save. And once you do click on save, this is when you're going to be this is when you're going to be able to log in with just a password. Again, there are some guides out there which are fairly incomplete, or maybe they are complete in a different environment that I have not been able to get to work. According to the FreeIPA documentation and guides on the FreeIPA site, this is what ended up working, and this was the most problem-free way that I got. Before I test with the Windows Active Directory thing, I'm also going to do another video where I showcase all the problems and the errors I came across when I was setting up FreeIPA when I was setting up Fedora to work with FreeIPA and Windows Active Directory. But for now, this is where I'm going to stop the video. FreeIPA works fantastically, I might add. It's very easy to manage users. It's very easy to work with it. The next video, like I said, we're going to be looking at the Windows Active Directory domain and managing Fedora clients. But for now, I want to thank you again for watching. And again, please like, subscribe, comment, leave an insult, leave a compliment, whatever you feel like. Help me grow this channel to the best of your ability, but do not click on the membership. At least for the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be making any member-only videos, as I don't feel or see the reason to. I think that in one way, shape, or form is going to kind of drive people away. But if you guys are watching these videos, if you guys are enabling ads, that already helps me more than the membership will. Thank you so very much for participating. Thank you so very much for watching. Thank you so very much for contributing by comments, likes, subscribes, everything. I will see you guys all in the next one.